I have owned this Lnhof 612 camera for the last few months and I shot only 4 rolls overall. But unfortunately, I need to send this camera to new owner tomorrow. So in today's video, I want to talk about this camera for those who are thinking to buy one of these. And I want to share why am I selling this beautiful camera before I give it to the new owner. So the name of this camera is Lnhof Technorama 612 PC version. So there are several panorama camera. For example, in 35mm, Hasselblad X-Pen is quite famous, and also Fujifilm made the same one of that as well. In medium format, Horseman, Fujifilm, and some other brand also makes panoramic camera. So this specific camera is from Lnhof brand. If you don't know, the Lnhof is also called as large format Leica and is also made in Germany as well. So this camera usually have two different lens in general. So a 65mm lens and 135mm lens, and I only have 135mm lens. So 65mm is considered as wide angle and 135 is kind of standard angle, about 42mm in 35mm format. It is a completely mechanical camera and focus is set by scale. When you frame it, you look through this viewfinder, and this viewfinder is specifically made for this camera. So it has two frame lines, 65mm and 135mm as well. Most of other 612 cameras shoot 56mm by 112mm, which is 1:2 ratio. But this Lnhof shoots 56mm by 121mm, which is 9mm wider than others, and it makes about 2.16 by 1 ratio. This is quite similar to cinematic ratio as well. So let's talk about this external viewfinder. So you can detach this viewfinder. As this panorama camera look through this external viewfinder, the viewfinder is very important. Compared to other brands, this viewfinder is well known as having a least distortion. I haven't experienced other panorama camera viewfinder, but I always pleased to look through this viewfinder. So such a beautiful camera with a fantastic design, and it produced this big negative and slide film. But why am I selling this camera? I think it's quite straightforward. Focal length limitation. As I mentioned, I only have 135mm lens. When I bought this camera, it was quite good price because of this. I knew that I want to have a wider angle panorama camera, but the price was too good to miss. And since I bought it, I tried few rolls, and even I brought this viewfinder whenever I go out shooting to find if there is any frame that I want to capture with this frame, with this panorama. At the end, I rarely find what I want to capture with this focal length, with this panoramic ratio. So I think that's the only reason that I'm selling this camera. So that means in the camera itself is wonderful camera, just not fit for my use. Now I really want to try large format in the future. We'll see how it goes, because there are a lot of things to consider before I start large format. So anyway, this is just a quick episode about this Lnhof Technorama 612 camera before I send it to the new owner. And I'm making another episode with how to load and unload film from this camera. So you can check up here, I'll link up there. Hope you enjoyed, and if you're ever thinking to buy this camera, this is just a wonderful camera, you know, as I mentioned. Anyway, thank you for watching.